Out of the 7 deadly sins for both males and females, I've concluded that for males, it's definitely greed. Greed is their favorite sin. Whereas for females, I've concluded that vanity is their favorite sin for the females there. And so I came to this conclusion because I didn't really fully actually estimate and have the imagination to predict the level of greed and the level of vanity men and women will both go to try to get what they want. And this was my greatest error. This was my greatest mistake. And my greatest mistake was exactly that, is underestimating the power of greed for man and the power of vanity for woman. You know, it is the case that so many people in our day and age are so flabbergasted and so appalled by what's going on, they're completely opting out of the system. And it's no wonder, right? Even me myself, when I started to accept that celibacy was probably going to be something that I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life, I gotta say, I felt a lot more peace. I felt so much more peace. Oh man, it was unbelievable. And as soon as I started to realize just how many things in the world are just complete BS, even though I was a bit frustrated and still am a bit frustrated with the way the system is going, I know that I'm going to beat the system. I know that I'm strategically putting myself in a position to where I don't have to play by the system's rules necessarily. And I think if so many people didn't think that they had to play by the system's rules, we wouldn't have the system to begin with. We wouldn't have a system where inflation has increased so much. We wouldn't have a system where rent is costing you your whole paycheck. I know people that have literally worked 2 jobs and they're still, they say that they're still considered broke to themselves. And it's like, you know, that's really something. If you're working 2 jobs and you're still considering yourself broke, either there's something really wrong with the way that the system is set up, or there's another way of going about this, which is completely opting out altogether. And this is why people will opt out. It's because they recognize that even seeing themselves in the mirror and seeing, okay, I can't even get ahead working 2 jobs, like working 60 hours a week plus. I can't even get ahead. Who would want to be in that kind of position, right? And this spiritually completely degrades you and demoralizes you. I mean, how sad is it to think that you can't even provide for your necessary needs and basic functions and food and shelter and such without having to literally work like eight days a week, you know? This is just something that the people are beginning to realize and work through and wake up to. And the more people that realize this, I think it's the better, to be honest. And so, you know, I don't really want to be talking about jobs all the time, but it's an important part of our livelihood now. And there's different ways to make money, right? You can make money by clicking on the internet. Like, it's literally insane the kind of ways that you can make money. But if you really want to make something worthwhile, you got to be doing something different. And even with stuff like this, where, you know, I'm talking to you, even though you right now are just through the camera, it's not necessarily that you're just a camera to who I am and what I'm about, right? You guys really make this kind of content relevant and this kind of thing understandable, and you guys are the ones that support this. And I don't ask for donations or anything like that, but the people that do, I'm very grateful for it. And honestly, just being here with me and hanging out and having a discussion and sharing your insights as well, because it's very entertaining and also insightful to see some of the people's comments on this channel. Like, I wouldn't be as knowledgeable as I was without the people in the Regal Change Academy community that we've got, and with the people here in the YouTube comments. And you know, that's what society is supposed to be, right? This is what society is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be about Instagram clout. It's not supposed to be about how many things you own or materialistic things, because that's what men get so wrong. You know, their greed comes from just trying to literally conquer the world. And sorry, that person was in a really crappy car, and they were pretty fat, and they're just singing their heart away. It's just like living their life. Anyway, but yeah, so the men want to conquer, and I think men need to have the mindset of conquering the world, right? We need to have that godlike savage mentality. But there is a certain point to where you're taking advantage of people. You're not leading them. Okay, there's a difference between leading people and taking advantage of people, right? So then you've got the people that are more, let's say, interested in the vanity, and that's for the most part is women. But I don't necessarily think that it's just women that are vain, and I don't think it's just men that are greedy. I think a lot of women, their vanity comes, like the 7 deadly sins, right, are all very connected. They're all very intertwined with one another. It's like they're in a chain, and you can't really have one without the other, and you can't have that one without this one. So they're all part of it, but there are favorites for each gender, I think. And I think as a species in general, I would say there probably is a certain sin that's more leaned on for the society and civilization's sake. But you know, that's another topic, and that's another thing to talk about. But you know, I guess what the point of this video that I'm trying to make here is, I didn't learn about all this stuff until I was in my early to mid 20s. I didn't start really questioning things until I was in my early to mid 20s. And it was only when I really started to question these things that, oh man, just look at those mountains there. You guys can't really see this, but there's a mountain like here. It's like almost 10,000 foot in elevation. Anyway, it's really pretty. But anyway, what I was saying was, when I was in my early 20s and mid 20s, I didn't really start to question a lot of this stuff because I never really was taught to question things. I was never really taught to, like, I'd always been naturally curious and questioning a lot of different things, but I never really actually started to question the matrix, right? Because everybody that I had growing up around me, they were telling me, you have to go to school, you have to go to school, you have to go to school, like, don't end up like me, or like, go to school. And then I had the complete flip side, where I literally had an uncle tell me, I remember we were hanging out one time outside. There was a patio that we would all hang out and sit on the outdoor chairs on at my grandpa's house. And we were sitting out there one day, and he told me straight up, it's like, life really isn't worth living, and you don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Just, you know, dreams aren't really real, and you don't need to follow your dreams. Like, dreams are a pipeline. And so, and it's like, I was so flabbergasted myself, and filled with this how do you say that? Anyway, I said that wrong. I know the word that I'm trying to think of, but anyway, it was like this disgusting feeling that I had, this sickness that I had in my belly when I heard that, because it did not feel right at all. It did not sit well with me at all. I was like, this is wrong. But I didn't question it at the time, even though I knew it was wrong, because I was a teenager at that point and I was getting ready to go to college. And you know, my dream going into college was just so that I could get a job on the other side, and hopefully just my degree and my charm would be able to be enough for me to get certain jobs, because I didn't care. I didn't really care. I knew that college was not necessarily like worth it, but I knew that I had to get that piece of paper if I really wanted a good job. And now here we are on the other side. And it doesn't even matter if you do have the degree. It doesn't even matter if you do have the degree. It's funny, I'm starting to think that a bachelor's degree is almost like the new high school degree. And this is part of the greed that goes on in our society. And this is not just with men, but generally with the greed. I mean, they're just telling you to get yourself drowning in debt before you even live life, and then spend the life that you want to live paying back that debt. And it's not even a spiritual debt. Like, it is a spiritual debt, but it's not even like something that's gonna really make you better on the other side anymore. Like, skills are gonna be way more important than any kind of degree, okay? Anybody that's listening to this, hear me loud and clear. Skills are gonna be more important than any degree. I'm getting to the point now to where, like, I have business people that I work with, and I don't care about their degree. There's a couple that haven't even gone to college. But guess what? I don't work with them because they went to college. I work with them because they know what they're about and they demonstrate competence and results. So I don't care. Like, I don't care about degrees. Degrees don't mean anything really anymore. And the only reason that like certifications or anything like that work is just to show that you've done the basics, you know, but it just doesn't mean much. And the vanity in our society, everybody's on social media trying to get famous. I'm not trying to get famous, but I am trying to spread a message. And I'm not trying to get famous, but I am trying to reach as many people as possible, because I believe what I have to say is going to revolutionize psychology and spirituality. I genuinely believe that. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this kind of stuff. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't believe in myself. So they want you to not believe in yourself, number one. Number two, they want you to think that you're incapable of making it on your own. And they want you to be in confusion, for like an everlasting confusion, really. They don't want you to be clear-minded. Why do you think like college and everything like that is all about partying now? That's all it is. It's partying and getting drunk and hooking up and getting drunk and hooking up and smoking weed and all that. Sure, you know what? I'm to the point now to where if you're smoking or doing any, really, if you're anything but sober, and I'm not saying that you got to be 365, you know, 365 days a year you need to be sober, but I mean, once a month or every 2 months you can have a good time, drink a little bit or smoke or whatever. I'm not really gonna tell you how to live your life necessarily, but me myself, I've been sober for actually over 2 years now, and I haven't done a psychedelic trip for over 3 years. I haven't smoked weed for over 2 years. I haven't drank in over a year, and even before that I wasn't much of a drinker at all. I did get a minor in possession charge when I was 19 years old for alcohol. We were at the university after a speakeasy dance, and we were playing cards, and I had half a beer, And that was enough for me to see the judicial system in action. Holy crap. Do you know how much that half a beer cost me at 19 years old? Half a beer. You know how much that beer cost me? $1,400 with all the fees and all that, whatever. That was the biggest bunch of BS I've ever seen. Still the most expensive beer I've ever bought to this day, and I didn't even drink all of it. I didn't even drink all of it, man. But yeah, that's the way life is now. That's the way it is. I mean, and I'm in Utah, so the laws are a bit more strict here. If I was in like Nevada or something, or Arizona, the cops probably would just give me a slap on the wrist. But here in Utah, they take drinking very seriously and such. And I understand it. But at the time, it was 19 years old and I had half a beer, man. Like, crazy what people will do just to try to, like, this cop didn't need to go out of this way to do those kinds of things, right? And that's what is so unfortunate about so many different things nowadays, is everybody's trying to go out of your way or out of their way to make sure that you don't succeed. People are trying to go out of their way to make sure that you stay stuck in the crab bucket. Because if you were to get out of that crab bucket, it would be you would be proving all of them wrong about the system that they so much believe in, even though they don't like it themselves. It's crazy. It's absolutely bonkers. And again, I wasn't even a drinker. I don't drink. I don't like it necessarily. I don't like getting super drunk. I don't like it at all. Now, weed, on the other hand, I really liked that. I really liked it. And even psychedelics, to some degree, I really liked it. But it had its time and its place, and I used it medicinally. I didn't use it because I was just because I wanted to get high or anything like that. I was really trying to understand myself, and I felt more connected to my spiritual self when I was high on marijuana. And it sounds weird to say that, right? It sounds weird, but it's actually not like you're high, though. I don't even like saying that, because there were just certain different, like, it was a different mode of consciousness, really, was what it was, that was so attractive to me with the marijuana. But again, I'm not advocating for this kind of behavior or anything like that. I'm just saying this is what happened. And so, there's so many different things and paths that I can go on this topic. Perhaps I'll make a part 2 in the near future, but I think I said most everything I want to for this video. And with all that being said, I hope this message was useful and insightful. The antidote to greed is to give and to serve. The antidote to vanity is gratitude. Okay, gratitude for what you actually have. And remember that. And peace be with you. Till next time.